Swinney.
Okay, appreciate it. Good to be back with everybody, and I guess this is our second time in this room, so really cool to have a nice space. Hope it's something that y'all will enjoy and have a little better spot to be able to work. Larry, you won't have to work out in the car. I've seen you in the past, time to time. So hopefully this will be better for everyone. But great time to start spring practice, man. What a beautiful day, for a first day of spring ball. It's always fun to start over and build a new team every year. This is what you do. You start over and you got a bunch of new people, and this year we got some new people amongst our staff as well. 15 mid-years, all that, so it's exciting to get going. You get 15 days to actually be on the field and try to maximize each one of those days to build a good foundation for this team and what we want to accomplish this year. And so we're excited. We've had a busy off season, but doing a lot of things. Obviously, since the last time we were together as a team, meetings, strength conditioning, our total off season program, our all-in drills, just a lot of self-evaluation as an organization that everybody does or should do this time of year, and then getting everybody on the same page. Obviously, with the change offensively, that's been fun to kind of see it all come together. So we're excited to get on the field today, and like I said, just day one, but get going. And I think we've got a good group. We got a lot of guys here. I guess we got about maybe 12 guys that'll be coming in this summer to add on, but the majority of our team is here, and it's exciting. Again, the 15 mid-years, that's big to get them here. We do have several guys that'll either be out for spring, limited for spring, different types of things, whether it be just postseason surgical type stuff, that is going to limit some guys. Bo Collins, he'll do all the individual, he'll do all of our team, what we call team separate. He won't do any good on good or have any contact or anything like that, but I'm glad he'll be able to at least be out to work on some timing and rhythm with the quarterbacks this spring. But coming off his shoulder surgery, Brody Kahn, he actually had both shoulders had to be fixed. He had one, and then 6 weeks later had another one, but he will be able to punt only this spring. Sheridan, he as y'all know, wasn't able to play in the Orange Bowl. He was dealing with that ab injury, so we did that surgery. So he will be limited. Hopefully we'll be able to do, as we go through spring, be able to do individual and things like that, and be able to get some drill work on the field. But no competitive stuff. Matthew Maloney coming off the ACL surgery from the season. He will be out. Rook Ororo had him and Peyton Page, both had their shoulders operated on postseason, so they'll be out for spring. Walker Parks had his, he played. Walker probably played 4 games with an ankle like that. I mean, it was unbelievable that he was able to finish and play the way he did. And so we knew it was going to have to be something we fix after the season. So he looks great. He's doing really well with his recovery and range of motion. He'll be out this spring, as will Marcus Tate, who tore his knee and had the surgery there. So, but he'll be out there doing individual as well. So you'll see those guys in a limited role, but no competitive work. But I think that'll end up being a blessing for us. With Marcus, we know what Marcus, who he is. Same thing with Walker. So it's going to really kind of force the issue with some other guys. Adam Randall, he's not going to be fully released until just after the spring game. So he played the last few games. Not his knee that he hurt, but the other knee had a little, just not a major deal, but just had to kind of clean that up, and so he's going to be out for the spring, but he's doing well. And then Xavier Thomas, You know, he'll do all the indie work, some of the team separate work, as he continues to come back fully recovered from, you know, when they had to put the bigger screw in his foot. So, you know, we got kind of a mash unit there of guys that'll be, like I said, either limited, participate partly here or there. Paul Tyson had a thumb injury, and hopefully after spring break he'll be able to do some things, maybe the second half of the spring there. John Williams is going to be limited here to start off. He had to have his appendix out, so you know, kind of getting him back going as well. Troy Salado, still not quite 100%, recovering from his ACL surgery. And then Jalen Phillips as well had to have ankle surgery after the season. So, you know, there's a lot of guys dealing with different things, but again, some will be involved in various roles throughout, some will be completely out as we go through, but all heading in a good direction. And these are all just old injuries, things from the season that we needed to take care of and knew about. And then the last thing is, I'm sure all of y'all have heard about Jeremiah Trotter's mom, Tammy, and you know, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, I guess, just before he came to Clemson, and has battled for the last couple of years, and just a really sad situation. You know, just a beautiful person inside and out, a beautiful mom, a great wife, and just a very, very tough time. So, you know, Jeremiah's here. He actually came back, I think Thursday night. He got back in town, and you know, just kind of wanted to get back going. So he's out here today. He'll practice today, but we'll be going home on Friday, and funeral will be on Saturday. Man, these are just tough things to deal with. And you know, breast cancer is just, all cancer is horrible, but you know, it's something that affects a lot of people. And you know, just thankful though that I got a chance to know her, and you know, all the great things that she instilled in you know, Josiah and Jeremiah, and so just ask that everyone keep them, their family, in your thoughts and prayers. You know, Jeremiah Senior, man, it's a tough time for him. You know, they've been partners for a long time, and but it'll be a great celebration of her life on Saturday. She was truly, like I said, just a beautiful person inside and out. But just doing everything we can as a program to put our arms around Jeremiah and help him, you know, just one day at a time.
What's the biggest thing you're excited about seeing from this group of mid-years?
You know, I mean, a few of them I got to see at the bowl, which was kind of cool. But really just kind of where they are. I mean, you know, you never really know till you get on the practice field and you start coaching guys. How do they grab a hold of things in the meeting room, and can they translate it to the practice field? I just want to see them go out there and compete. I want to see where they are, see how they match up. I'm excited about it. You know, there's a few more, like I said, coming in this summer that I'll be excited about as well. But, you know, it's going to be fun. First couple days are in shorts, but we'll ramp it up on Wednesday, start getting into some pad work. But just kind of where they are, see them compete. And I think all the mid-years, with the exception of Paul Tyson, I think all those guys are ready to go. You know, so just kind of get a feel for kind of who they are on the field.
With Garrett arriving, two-part question: how much how do you prepare the guys before you get them on the field to kind of get them, you know, involved in the offense? And then this isn't something we've really had to deal with since Chad Lawrence got here. How excited are you to actually get out on the field and kind of put that in action today?
Well, I mean, when Chad left, you know, Tony and Jeff taking over there in 14 or start of 15. So we've had, it's been since then, since
right.
we've really had transition. But you know, there's a lot. I mean, we've been going since the end of January with meetings. you know, now the way the rules are, you can do walkthroughs. So, you know, as a part of our MAC drills, you know, we've done walkthroughs, we've had a lot of installation meetings. So, you know, you prepare for this first practice probably more than any practice, you know, all year, because, you know, it's like, all right, we've installed a lot. And then you have, you know, pretty much all of February to meet as a staff to get on the same page as coaches and you know, everybody speak the same language, you know, 'cause that's the biggest thing in the initial stages is, you know, what do you call 2x2, what do you call 3x1, what do you call 3x2, you know, everybody calls it something. So learn, you know, what's 4 verts, you know, what's smash, what's your quick game, what do you call 6-man protection, 5-man protection, 5 quick, 5 drop back. What are those things called? What do you call inside zone? What do you call the outside zone? What do you call the counter? What do you call the power? You know, I mean, everybody the football people can look at it and say, well, we know what that is, but we got to all get on the same page because everybody's got different language. And so kind of collaborating the last month and really honing in. You know, I think the biggest thing with Garrett, you know, it's not going to be about trying to see how much we can install. I think it's just going to be about getting everybody on the same page, getting a good foundation in place this spring. You know, we got 6 receivers that aren't really available, you know, with Bo, Adam, Stellato, and then you got 3 coming in the summer, and Roan and Tyler and team. So, you know, but you still gotta install what we need to, because we got backs. Everybody needs it, and so I guess we got 5 scholarship guys out there this spring. And then we got, you know, good Hampton Earl, Hamp Green, those guys will be able to contribute and help us as well. But you got to get it in. So just a good foundation from a base offense standpoint. And that's, I think, the biggest objective is coming out of spring, feeling good about what we do install, because if we can get the base down, then we'll be able to build from there. And then defensively, you know, it's really just, you know, learning from our season, getting everybody in the right spot. We got some really, really good players that aren't going to really be participating in spring, like Root and Peyton Page and XT, you know, so, but that's like, okay, where's Greg? Where's Zaire? Where's Cade? Denhoff, you know, and really seeing the Jaheim and seeing where those guys are, these new guys that have rolled in here, TJ, Peter Woods, Steph Island, Burley, you know, so it's exciting. But just getting the base down, the base foundational pieces, offensively, defensively, and special teams.
Could you give us a glimpse of maybe what the offensive line will look like personnel-wise with those 2 guys out to start off the game?
Well, you're going to be out there today, so you get a chance to see for yourself. You know, we'll start out with some special teams and some indie, and, you know, in the past, y'all have seen us kind of do a tempo period. You know, most days we'll do a tempo period, and I think today we're actually doing that tempo period against the defense. We'll just a little fastball, good and good, try to get about 10, 12 plays run in a quick 5-minute period. But, you know, you'll see Blake Miller out there. He kind of finished up there at right tackle and really like where he's at. And he's going to be we think, a really special player. I mean, it's hard to start as a true freshman. And, you know, he certainly wasn't perfect, but he made a lot of strides. And so excited about, you know, where he's at. And then over at left tackle, Tristan will get his opportunity. You know, Marcus Tate gives us a lot of flexibility because Marcus Tate can play left tackle. You know, we got to when we get through the summer and get into camp and we really figure out who the best 5 are and then who's the 6th guy, the 7th guy, you know, Marcus is a guy that gives you a lot of flexibility because obviously he can play guard, but he can play left tackle, play right tackle. And so who is that guy? Like last year we thought Blake was the 5th best guy. So we moved Walker to guard. And so that's kind of where we were. Obviously you got Putnam in there, and he's in a good spot. And then Mitchell Mays, I think, took a big step forward, finishing those what he started the last 4 games for us, and really did a nice job. So you'll see him in there, and then probably today, probably a combination of Trent Howard and Ron Linthicum. You know, that's kind of where we are from just guys that can really go be, you know, execute functionally as a football player. So you'll see Linthicum and Trent kind of working guard and center, and both kind of working some center, and then you're going to see a lot of Dietrich you know, kind of where he's at. He's going to get his opportunity with that first group at guard as well. John is going to be, you know, he's limited right now, so I'm not sure when we'll get him back, you know, dealing with this appendix deal. So that's kind of where it'll start. Sadler's going to start out there. We'll probably start him as the second left tackle. We'll probably go out there with Tristan first, Sadler second, working left tackle. But Sadler is a guy that we really think can play anywhere. We're really excited about him, and like I said, he probably would not have redshirted last year had he not got hurt. But you know, just going out there today, he'll probably work with the second group left tackle. Just we got to get everybody going, and but he'll be a guy that'll cross train, and I think when it's all said and done, we'll be able to play wherever. And so again, who's the best five? And if that means moving somebody, then you know we'll do that. But so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good opportunity for a lot of these guys. It's gonna be a good opportunity for Tristan, a really good opportunity for Sadler, great opportunity for Dietrich and Trent Howard and Linthicum. You know, these guys to step up and see what they're gonna do. You know, Tucker's a guy that's been around here, and I mean, you know, hadn't really kind of grabbed a hold of the opportunity yet, and so we'll see what he does. But it's a veteran group, that's for sure. We only lost one guy, and you know, J Mac, and he performed well at the combine this week, but he run 4.99, so I think he thinks he's officially a D lineman now. It's a good group back, but again, Wish, Parks, and Tate were out there, but we're very confident in who they are, and so I think in the end, this will be a blessing for us to really develop a very good group and get to a point that we probably hadn't been in a couple of years.
Will you look at Blake at all on the left side? Or do you
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You had a great run of kickers from Catanzaro to Hugel to Potter. How tight do you think the competition will be at kicker?
You know, I don't know right now how tight it'll be because we haven't been out there yet. But I mean, Gunn is we signed him because we think he's special and you know he's got a cannon, and so we'll see. You know where Liam is. You know, we'll see how he gets out there and competes. And Gassner and Morton, we got a little group. They'll go get out there. I mean, the one thing about kicker, there's no gray area, right? It either goes through the pipes or it doesn't. So it's not very subjective. We'll see. But we feel good about Robert Gunn. I mean, I think he's a special talent. I mean, I really do. And you know, so but you got to go do it. So as far as where we are competition-wise, I mean, you know, we'll see as the spring goes. We got both our snappers back. Excited about that, and I think the competition is going to be a punter. You know, with Jack coming off a red shirt, I think he's kind of mentally got himself in a good spot. It was really good for him last year. You know, we punted him in the ACC championship game. He bombed it, and that was good for him. And then obviously Aiden got a lot of experience last year, so we'll see.
Yeah, though, what do you think so far from what you've observed of Garrett Riley strictly as a quarterback development coach? And around the SEC and ACC, there have been several offensive coordinators that have bolted for the NFL. Are you worried about the demands of college football coaching kind of making coaches leave for the pros?
Okay, all right. You tested me. All right, so the first one was his development as a quarterback coach. I mean, I think he's first of all, he's awesome in the meetings. I've really enjoyed his demeanor. He's the same guy every day. He's very bright, very consistent. You know, he doesn't act like he's got all the answers or anything like that. I mean, he's really he's very confident. You know, I love that about him, and he should be. He's been very successful. But the quarterback that he had at SMU, I think his name was Bouchel. Is that Bouchel? Bouchel. And you know, when you saw his impact on him when he was there, and then you know he goes into TCU, and ironically, Chad Morris's son won the job in camp. I was just with Sonny Dykes like a week ago. We was talking about this, but Chad Morris's son won the job in camp. Got hurt, I guess the first game, and Duggan You know, guy ended up winning the Davy O'Brien. So, you know, I think all you can really base the answer on is just a guy's track record, and he's got a good track record when it comes to developing quarterbacks. So I think he's got a good knack for that. He's been around a bunch of good ones, and you know, that's the first part of it. And I guess the second thing you asked was about the NFL.
Yeah, coordinators leaving.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's there's no question that, you know, where we are in college football right now from a calendar standpoint, it's crazy. I mean, it's just it's especially for you know, the assistant coach, you know, because it's just there's just, you know, and it depends on really, I guess, who you're working for too. So you know, it's not a surprise to see a lot of guys that have made that move, just because, you know, when football's over, right? You're not dealing with recruiting and all those type of stuff. So, and right now, you know, there's just a lot of uncertainty and a lot of chaos in college football. So I'm not surprised by it, but I'm not worried about it as far as, you know, guys doing it if that's what they want to do. Like I said, I'm not sitting around worried about that, but I'm not surprised by it.
Coach Antonio Williams is 1 year under his belt now. What do you look to see from him in terms of spring ball improvement and growth?
Just maturity. You know, you just want to see a guy, you know, learn and apply the lessons from last year. Just take that next step. You know, I mean, he's freshman All-American. They don't give sophomore All-American, so you know, you just take another step from a maturation standpoint in his overall, you know, total development. He needs to get stronger in the weight room. You know, get a little bit more committed nutritionally. You know, become a little bit, and you know, he's very, like, technically he was a pretty advanced kid coming in here, but really polishing up on some things from a technical standpoint, and then we're starting to, you know, become a little bit of a leader. You know, that's a position that he thrived in. He came in, he ended up winning the job, and but he just taking that next step and being a dominant player day in and day out, and just physically and mentally maturing a little bit. And I think you'll see that in him. I've already seen that in him as well, but you know, just being a little bit more of a leader as well.
Speaking of receivers, how big is this spring for Cole, just continuing to learn the position?
Well, I mean, it's big. He obviously has a lot of confidence coming out of the season last year. We're really fortunate we were able to redshirt him, and then for him to be able to get the experience that he had, but also have success, is a huge positive for him. So, you know, Cole, Antonio, Adam, Bo, that's kind of the inspector. You know, those five guys right there, you know, should really, you know, kind of butter our bread a little bit, if you will. I mean, that's kind of where it should start, and then, you know, eventually if we can get Stellato healthy, he can help us. I mean, he was having a great fall camp, and when he tore his ACL, so hopefully we'll get him back in there. And then obviously you got Tyler and Tink and Ronan and all those guys coming. Noble's here this spring. Super excited about seeing him. I mean, he looks the part, and he can move the way you ought to be able to move. We loved him in the recruiting process. He's looked great in our off-season program. So anxious to see him get out there. But you know, we've got a good group, but it's big. It's a big opportunity for Cole. You know, again, with Bo out, with Adam out, with Stellato out, and some of those other guys not here, you know, the opportunity for Spector and Cole and Antonio is big, you know, this spring. It's really big.
Yeah, with the scholarship numbers at linebacker, keen to get Jamal Anderson, D. Creighton in early to get them kind of advanced toward being depth contributors, perhaps.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we you know, our number, we changed our number. It used to be 9, and now it's 8. You know, so we're actually kind of right at our number, scholarship wise. But we, so we're in a good spot. But yeah, definitely, you know, get for spring practice for sure. You know, getting those guys in here. I mean, they both are I think they're as advertised. I mean, just watching them move around, watching how they've kind of handled themselves in the walkthroughs, they haven't seemed overwhelmed. You know, they're different. You know, Jamal is, man, this kid is a big time athlete. This dude is smooth, man. He can run, change direction. I think he can do a lot of things. He's got really good growth potential. He's long, and then D's a thumper. You know, D is got a great body, and you know, both of those guys remind you of the guys that we have there. It's a great room. It's a really, really good room. I'm very excited about our group. You know, there's not many teams out there that have, you know, Bear Carter and Trotter and Woodaz, you know, with your first group. And then Woodaz, you know, when if we're in a true 3 linebacker set, will be your guy. But Woodaz is going to work Will Backer as well, so which naturally transition for him. But man, Dudley, we were able to redshirt him. Man, Dudley's got a chance to be a really good player. I'm super excited about him. You know, I haven't seen as much of Kobe, just because he was on the scout team all year. I haven't seen as much of him in a competitive environment, you know, situation yet. So he's really worked hard. He's gotten strong. He's changed his body a little bit. So we'll see him out there, and then, you know, Jamal and D in the mix. It's going to be a good group. It's going to be a really good group.
You mentioned there's a lot of carryover or a lot of similarities between the offense y'all have had here and the one Garrett brings in. What are some important sort of distinctions or differences between what he brings in and what y'all have?
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, the biggest thing is just getting the terminology the same, but the biggest thing is your outside receivers. Like, we would always cross-train our guys, you know, the X and the Z, the 2 and the 9, you know, depending on what we called them, whatever year it was, but you would always cross-train guys, whereas now, you know, those guys, when you get into game planning and things like that, you put guys wherever you want them, but as a base rule, those guys, they don't switch sides, so they cross-train naturally, which I like that, because the ball gets distributed, you know, differently too. And so, you know, that X is on the next play is a Z, and that Z on the next play is an X, because, you know, the ball's left hash, right hash, you know, whatever. So then your slots make the adjustments. That's part of it, and then systematically, you know, just how you signal things is a little different. You know, put a little bit more on the quarterback from a signal standpoint. It's really simple. We've simplified some things, but you know, again, and then there's a lot of things that we've done that have been really good for a long time that you want to kind of hang on to. But biggest thing is just getting on the same page terminology wise, because, you know, he's got to be able to call it, you know, freely, you know, and what we might call stick, he calls this, you know, and it really doesn't matter. What does stick mean? Well, it only means this because that's what we learned it as, right? So just getting everybody, what do we call 4 verts? Everybody runs 4 verts. Well, what do you call it? What he calls it, what we've called it, and then kind of getting everybody on the same page. Your cadence, you know, is a little different, you know, in the rhythm of what you do cadence-wise. So there's a lot of things, you know, that are the exact same. I mean, again, inside zone's inside zone. It doesn't matter. You can turn on TCU and watch the inside zone. You can watch Clemson inside zone. But we called it this. Now we're going to call it this. And then and so it's been fun, you know, going through all the cuts and, you know, watch his cuts. And then we watched the same play at Clemson and, you know, just the coaching points and things like that. But, you know, just I think we can play really fast. Just because of how we're going to signal and, you know, kind of the keys and indicators that the players have. And then again, as a base rule, guys not swapping sides, you know, having to kind of really learn the whole concept. I think that's a positive.
Graham has talked a few times about the unequal revenue model the ACC is considering. Is that something that
say that again?
The unequal revenue distribution model, where, you know, kind of rewarding more money, more percentages of it to teams that are more successful? Is that something you discuss with them, or do you think that's maybe a good model for the ACC?
Yeah, I'll just leave that to him. I'll let him handle all that. Yeah, I mean, I know about it and I've heard the conversation, but yeah, I'll let him I'll let him worry about that.
What do you want to see from the quarterbacks, both in terms of learning the system and development?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm super excited to see CV because I literally have not been on the field with him yet, right? I mean, you know, he didn't go to the bowl game with us, so today will be the first time that I've been on the field with him. We've had walkthroughs, but you know, we've not been able to run routes and things like that. So I'm excited to see him out there. I'm sure he'll be nervous. And then, you know, Cade looks great. You know, he's right at 200 pounds. Y'all will see him, you know, physically. He looks really good. And I think he wants to be about 208, maybe by August. That's kind of his goal. So he's really progressed well from when he got here at about 180. So he looks really, really good. But I just want to see him really take command. I want to see him lead. You know, I want to see us, you know, like I said, Garrett's not overwhelming them with scheme. You know, we're trying to get really good at the basics and the foundation of the offense. And so I want to see those guys really take command, you know, really bring great energy day in and day out and assert themselves as great leaders. And, you know, I want to see CV get out there and compete. You know, I hate Paul's not going to be able to go. But you know, Hunter, he battled a little bit of a foot sprain coming out of mat drills, but Hunter Helms, so we'll get him out there as well. And then I want to see Trent. You know, this is the first time I'm going to really get a chance to see Trent take reps. So it's going to be fun for all those guys. But just execute and show that they have a good grasp of what we're doing.
Obviously, you got to see Cade have that week prior to the bowl or that month, I guess, to be the leader of the offense. I mean, how much do you feel like he established himself as that in that period of time? How important is this spring to
Yeah,
continue that?
I think he took full advantage of it as a freshman. You know, I mean, the one of the things I really like about this team is I really think that our best players on this team are incredibly committed. I really do. I mean, you know, we've had some years you have some teams where sometimes your best players are you know, you'd like for them to be a little bit of a better leader, a little bit more committed. This team, the best players are really passionate and they're really committed and they're really good leaders. And Cade is an example of that. I mean, this guy is super competitive, incredibly committed, really truly believes in, you know, what we do here and how we do it. And you know, he's a winner and he's a natural leader. So, you know, it's hard. It's a different dynamic when you take over as a freshman late and you kind of have that new role. But now having an off season, going in the weight room, being out on the field, Saturdays, throwing balls to the guys, getting the guys together and things like that. I mean, he's had an opportunity to really assert himself that way, and it's been fun to watch. I mean, he's in a good spot.
Coach, speaking of leaders, Will Shipley missed last spring. That was a good opportunity for Moffa, but seems like that was torturous for Will not being able to suit up. How excited is he about this spring?
Yeah, he's excited, and you know, he's a guy that has worked hard this offseason too to get his body. You know, he was battling some tendonitis and things like that coming out of the season, but he's worked really hard to be able to get out there and compete. And so that's a really good group right there. I mean, those two guys, you know, I think have a chance to be, you know, a special group. They both have done some really good things in their first 2 years, but there's a lot more there for both of those guys, and I think you'll see that for sure this year. And so we feel good about them. So let's see where's Dominique, where's Keith Adams. We got you know, a couple more guys rolling in here this summer. You know, and Jay and Jarvis, and we'll see where they are as well. So it's gonna be a fun group when everybody gets here and all together.
What do you want to see out of Makuba this offseason as a whole?
Same thing I was saying about Antonio. I want to see him just maturity. You know, I thought he took a step back last year. I don't think physically he was in a good place. He was hurt a lot. You know, the one thing I'll say about Makuba, he's one of the toughest kids we have on this team, but I just don't think he had his body in the best possible spot last year. So and he's already improved in that area. He's about 8 or 9 pounds heavier right now than he was when we finished the season. So just physically getting his body in a better spot. And then you know, he's gotta be more disciplined, more focused. There's just no question. I mean, he made some mistakes last year that, you know, if he just is a little bit more disciplined, with his eyes, with his technique, you know, he's in a better position. So, and then I think physically, again, he's got to really assert himself in this offseason more than he did last year to give himself the best possible opportunity to have the type of season that he wants to have. A really good player. He's a dynamic player. But, you know, and then get healthy. Because like I said, he had the elbow, he had the knee, he had a little bit of everything last year. But I think it starts with just really truly maturing and really being committed nutritionally, you know, strength conditioning, the whole deal.
What was the evaluation process like for you and Wes coming out of his first year running the defense?
Just going through everything and you know, evaluating all the calls, evaluating all the personnel, situational stuff. You know, I mean, sometimes the stats don't really kind of show what you want. Sometimes it may show certain things, but it's still not what you want it to be. But, you know, I think we're in a really good place in that room. I love the staff. I love the coaches. You know, Wes has a great grasp on it, and you know, we know what went right and what didn't, and what we got to do to get better. And the number one thing is pass defense. You know, simple as that. And so we think we've got good players. We think we're going to have more depth than we've had, but we've got to execute a little bit better. And so that'll be a big focus for us. If we're better with pass defense and we're better with our pass offense, we're gonna have another great season.
This will be your 15th spring as head coach. Are you as excited today as you were 15 years ago?
Absolutely, man. It's I was just telling some folks earlier today. I mean, it's just like, I mean, this day never gets old when you get a chance to actually get back out on the field and start over and, you know, build a new team. I mean, you know, and it goes so fast. You know, what, 8-9 months, this thing is over. You know, we've got the results. You know, and you know, last year we're 11-3, and you know, this time last year we were kind of getting ready, getting going. You don't really know what's coming. Well, hey, we won the league. We're 11-3, and you know, had another good year. Some teams maybe have had some better teams along the way, but man, I can just tell you our program's never been better, and we are really in a good spot. But it's always exciting to get started and to just see if you can put it all together. This is my favorite part, is that you know, challenge of building a new team and seeing if you can help this guy get to another point. You know, like, to me, I had dinner with KJ Henry last night, and like seeing KJ and, you know, where he was this time last year and why he came back and what we were trying to do, and now to see him where he is and just see him maximize his career here academically, athletically, and, you know, just growth and maturity as a man. That's what I love. You know, I love that transformation. And so every year you start over and you kind of figure out where guys are and how do we take the next step. And they change. Young people grow. And the reason we've been so successful here for a long time is because these guys have grown up and they buy in, and then it becomes their responsibility to kind of pass that down, you know, the leaders. And so now, okay, those guys are gone, man, who's those new guys, and them taking that next step from a transformation standpoint, leadership. It's fun. It's fun because it's new dynamics. I mean, you get out on the field today, and it's the first time we've been out there as a team, and it's all of a sudden a guy that didn't really have a voice last year or 2 years ago. Next thing you know, he's got this voice. He's got this confidence. He's got this skill set now. He's got the fundamentals are better. I mean, it's fun, you know, to see that. And but it's a long year ahead, and this is just one of those days that you look forward to every year.
Is it a bummer to have this many guys out? Like y'all were banged up last spring too?
Well, I mean, it's just, I mean, yeah, I mean, I wish you had everybody, but I think, like I said, I'm pretty confident in Rook. I think he's going to be all right. I think old Peyton Page, I feel really good about Peyton Page. So, you know, it's not a bad thing. You know, because now we get a chance to see Peter Woods right out of the gate, right? We get to see some of these. Kate Parks, I don't think is going to be there today. His mom, it was he had to get home. She was not doing well. She was sick, so he went home to check on her. But he'll be back. He was at the dinner last night too. So, but Kate Park and Trey and those guys, I mean, it's a good opportunity for them. I'm excited to see Greg Williams. I can't wait to see him and Kate. Zaire, kind of how's that? You know, I'm so excited to see Maskell in this role now as being like the guy. It's going to be a lot of fun, you know, and see how they take to it. But yeah, I mean, I wish, you know, we had Bo out there, but I think the biggest thing is let's get Bo healthy. Let's get that shoulder healthy. I wish I had Adam. That's a bummer, but. You know, it's kind of just a major, but just a little something sticking on his knee that they had to kind of clean up. But you know, he'll be out. So I definitely wish I had him out there, but you know, they're not going to hand out any trophies in spring. We'll be able to get done what we need to do foundationally as a team with the guys we have.
Speaking of more opportunity, I guess Toriano and Jaden with Sheridan out, just another opportunity for them to kind of build upon last year.
Yeah, with Sheridan out for sure. I mean, you know, and Jaden's going to end up having to have some surgery as well. You know, he's got to have that shoulder fixed. He played, you know, all last part of the season with that brace on, but he wants to get through. He wants to go compete. You know, we could have gone ahead and cleaned him up, but you know, we wanted to wait and let him get at least the first half of spring so he could really get out there and compete. And then we'll probably have to clean his shoulder up, his other shoulder, after spring break, and so he probably won't be available for the spring game. But that way we can get him back and ready to go for really all of our summer training and stuff. But some of these guys that we went ahead and did the surgeries on, you know, like I said, Marcus Tate, you didn't really have a choice. Walker Parks didn't have a choice, but you know, we're very confident. Rook, XT, we're very confident in those guys and who they are. You know, probably the biggest one that is Adam. I wish we'd had him out there this spring, but he'll be back soon.
Yeah, but with Salato, I think it's about 7 months since he got injured. Were you about where you would like for him to be, or is he?
We did the surgery in September, I guess. So what's that? October, November, December. Yeah, so he's about 6 months. You know, it's you know, not really trying to rush him or anything like that, but he's. You just never know. You know, some guys respond really, really well, and you know, are back quicker than others. So he's just not quite where he needs to be, you know, yet. So they're just going to keep progressing it.
15 years for you. How many years for the hat?
This hat?
That hat. And what's the story? Why always that hat?
I don't know. It's a good one. I've got my original hat. I wear it every now and then from '03. It's got just the purple bib, the white hat. I don't know. I like routine.
I just thought you had a closet full of those.
What's that?
I just thought you had a closet full of those hats.
No, it's only one. If y'all find it, I'd wear a new one if I could get one.
You washed it?
Every now and then I wash it. I just throw it in the shower with me and wet it down and hang it out to dry. But I don't turn it into the laundry. I just put some hot water on it and hang it up. But yeah, if y'all can get me another one, I'll wear a new one. It's the only one, but I just like the fit. It's a nice hat, dry fit. But yeah, I don't know. I like routine, tradition. Got a lot of wins.
This group's about to head upstairs to the top floor of the Clemson Athletics Branding Institute. What was kind of your vision for it, and how have you seen it benefit the young men in the program so far?
Oh man, it's been great. You know, this has been a multi-purpose project. You know, obviously to be able to have a really good media space. I think that's been needed here for a long time. So glad we're able to get that. And then we built a new NFL locker room. So our players, you know, like KJ's already told me he's going to stay here all summer. So for him to be able to have a locker and to be able to train right here and take advantage of all this, I think that's great for our former players. So when they do come back, they've got a place to change, shower, all that. And then we use that also when we do our photo shoots and things like that, where guys can, you know, dress out and change. And then the biggest thing is the production studios up top. you know, there's a couple of different production studios. When you do these photo shoots, these things are massive, and there's a ton of setup that goes into all that stuff. And so being able to have the lighting, being able to have, you know, a lot of times people roll the white paper out, to be able to have it already built in, it just makes us much more efficient, recruiting ready all the time, if you will, but also for our players to be able to use that stuff, you know, for some things that they may be interested in. CD's office is up there. We've got a board room. We got a podcast room, which is really cool. So it's just a space where, you know, guys can be creative and they can, you know, achieve what they want to achieve. And as we labeled it the Clemson Athletic Branding Institute, I just went, well, all right, we'll call it the CAB. And I just felt like it fit in that, you know, what does a CAB do? It gives you a lift to your destination, but you got to pay the toll, right? You know, you got to put the work in, right? And so it's not a free ride. So that was kind of the story behind it. But it's a great facility. You guys are gonna love it. We also, Alex Bean, and we kind of created a little bit more of our applied science space over here where we do, you know, track all their movements and stuff. That's right off the weight room. That's a little bit more convenient, just connected to the weight room there. We've got our NFL scout room as well, for all the NFL scouts, you know, come and study our guys. So it's really a great facility. Super excited to get it opened up, and it's gonna make us better.
Coach, appreciate it.